everybody had a chance to learn in that process. Not only are people who are real techie, but also the role holders who were there to give speeches, uh, judge the contest, time the people, be the contest chair and contest master. Yeah. We were all, even myself, even I was learning and saying, well, we know at the next area contest to be prepared for this.
Welcome to D50 After Dark. We're going to have one more conversation today with our district's club growth director, Rhonda Bunte. And today we're going to talk about leadership through collaboration. It's going to be a fun conversation. We're going to learn something from Rhonda and her great experience as a leader. So enjoy our episode today. Welcome to D50 After Dark. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett. And Rhonda, welcome back to the show for one more conversation.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, it's been so wonderful talking to you about your experience in Toastmasters and about the club growth director team. I've learned so much about your team. We're going to mix it up today and we're just talk about leadership, specifically leadership through collaboration. So first of all, when we say leadership through collaboration, what do we mean by that?
Well, Webster defines it as this: to work jointly with others or together, especially in an intellectual endeavor.
Okay. Wow. So let's unpack that a little bit. So a lot of times people think of a leader in a hierarchical way, as someone who's the boss telling others what to do, but there's other forms of leadership, including this one you described with collaboration. So what does it look like when we're collaborating, using leadership through collaboration?
For me, collaboration was a couple of things. It was actually listening to what the team has, their concerns, their suggestions, and it is also taking opportunities when needed to train team members, in particular a new endeavor that they're engaging in. But it's also respecting each other for their ideas. Everybody is equal.
Okay.
We're all learning.
Yeah, very great. So you mentioned, I think, at least 3 really great points there. Listening, identifying training opportunities, and being respectful. So tell us about listening to others. Don't we always listen to each other in Toastmasters?
We hope we do. It's sometimes what we're listening, are we hearing what that we think what we're hearing, and we want to be sure that we confirm that.
Yeah.
It's also taking the time to really let the other person talk. Mm-hmm. And to confirm what they are saying and understand their concerns. So that is listening. I had, as the Metro Division Director, there was always a time when perhaps one of the area directors would call me about something that, well, in our team meeting, you said, I'm not clear about that. Would you please explain that? Mm-hmm. I'd be glad to do that. Anytime you need anything, just call me, because I want to be sure that they were understood what they were trying to convey to their clubs.
Mm-hmm. So I think you touched on another really great point there that I think is important for collaboration is accessibility, being accessible to the people you're collaborating with, an open door, so to speak. And for listening, you mentioned something else there, confirming what you heard, because sometimes what we think we heard wasn't really the message someone was trying to tell us, right? We're all trying to become better and more effective communicators, but we don't always effectively communicate. And so when somebody tells you something, you repeat back to them what, in your own words, what you heard.
Sometimes I just want to, if I'm concerned about it, I asked them to explain a little bit more in detail their concerns.
Yeah.
Or I give them a response and ask them, does this answer your question? Does this address your concern?
Yeah. Okay. And then you mentioned like training opportunities. Say a little bit more about that. How is that a part of collaboration?
In the area director's assignments, one of the things that they do is having to organize not club, but area contest, and which includes their clubs that have members that have participated in the contest and move forward to be representing their clubs in the area contest. Well, there's a lot to be done. They have to have the particular role holders, and that never done a club contest before. Some of them maybe never even been to an area contest, so they don't know what's supposed to go on. Might have been there for the club, but club maybe could be a little different.
Sure.
So that is the one training opportunity. They are learning how to do that. They're learning organization, networking to get people done, and actually learning collaboration themselves. And that each one says, I'll help you if you'll help me with my contest.
Yeah.
Works out well. I'm learning, or I'm in how to instruct them for an area contest. Am I getting all my information over to them? Because I've done area contests. I've been involved from a District 50 Chief Judge situation, been to many a contest, seen all the problems that can arise, whether it's online or in person. So I can give them some experiences that I had and say, now this is what you want to do because this will happen if you don't.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, because this idea of leadership through collaboration really acknowledges the learning aspect of teamwork, in that leadership isn't just telling people what to do, it's also teaching them, and in the process learning some things yourself as a leader. And I think the focus on collaboration really highlights that learning element of a team.
Right. And as you said, we're all learning, because if there's a mistake made, we can usually resolve it. There was, when we did the hybrid area contest for one of the areas in Metro, I forget which one it was, but it was one of the first of the contest, and there were a lot of problems with it, with the electronics and getting things hooked up well, and what people wanted to do, and people were learning. Well, okay, what do I do here? And the roles, how were they handled? So everybody had a chance to learn in that process. Not only are people who are real techie, but also the role holders who were there to give speeches, judge the contest, time the people, be the contest chair and contest master. Yeah. We were all, even myself, even I was learning and saying, well, we know at the next area contest to be prepared for this.
Yeah.
It just happens that way. It's a constant learning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you pointed out something there, that each person brings different experiences and skill sets to the team. And I suppose part of collaboration is just learning to trust each individual to bring those skill sets. My producers help do so many things behind the scenes for the show. This show would never happen if it were just me talking to you. And I rely on and trust Tommy's experience as a producer to make the show work, right? And that's part of the collaboration of the show. And as you described, the collaboration that happens in a contest or other endeavors.
Right.
Yeah, and you mentioned another thing in earlier on about collaborating, leadership through collaboration, respect. Tell us about how respect plays a part in collaboration.
This is not something that, and although I'm the Metro Division Director, I respect each individual on the team. And I saw that respect was among all of the team members. Because if we don't respect one another, the team is not going to work well together. And that's just in my opinion, but I think it's very important. I felt that they respected me and my experience from other contests and other as one time being an area director, and that helped me understand them better. Saying, I've been there before. I see what you're going through. I respect you for making your every effort you can, and for who you are, because what everybody, as you said before, they all have different talents, and they bring those to what they're doing as area directors. Some are more networking, others are more able to engage with members of their clubs and just encourage and mentor them. So everybody does something different, and I respect them for that.
Yeah, it's so important. And as we were talking about earlier about how important learning is in a collaborative effort, it occurs to me that if I don't respect somebody, I'm not going to learn anything from them. And if I don't show respect to someone, they're not going to learn anything from me.
Right.
So it's so critical to have that respect in the team. Rhonda, do you have anything else to share to our listeners about leadership through collaboration?
Well, one thing is to always encourage people to step outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
That is what I encourage these area directors to do, because I was doing actually cold calling people as to say, can you serve as an area director? And that I did not know everyone. I would know them from perhaps, I checked with another friend of mine at the club that says, well, you're a member of that club where they are. Can you tell me about them? And I think that's one thing to do. As I said, recognize each person's talent and help to develop that talent more.
Yeah.
Encourage them to do that. I think that also it's time that leaders take a step back and do an evaluation. Let their team evaluate them. I learned a lot from that evaluation.
Okay.
Because I learned that there are some that wanted more hands-on, and I thought, well, so in doing now my team that I'm working with as club growth director, I ask, if you need any more help or need any assistance, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
So as a leader who leads through collaboration in your roles as a division director or now as a club growth director, you intentionally and actively seek out feedback from the people on your team.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any particular tools Toastmasters has for doing that, or you just call them up and say, hey, tell me, what do you think about how the team's going and my leadership?
In pathways, there is some particular about levels 4 and 5 of particular projects one does that has evaluations of how maybe leading a project uh, or that gives an opportunity to do an evaluation form. And what you usually do is then do as a presentation as to a club meeting what the project was and how what you learned from it, and if there an evaluation may be something that you got information and feedback for your learning experience.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, and now that I think of it, I think the High Performance Leadership Project has some things built into it that fits this purpose of soliciting feedback from your team. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for highlighting this really great perspective on leadership through collaboration. It's been a great conversation, and I've had so much fun talking to you today, Rhonda, about all of your experience in Toastmasters and what you're working on as Club Growth Director. Really appreciate your leadership in our district, and it's just really been great to have you. For our listeners, I have today's call to action for you. Do you enjoy listening to D50 After Dark? Do you enjoy the show? Would you like to be a part of the show, either on our team or perhaps be a guest on our podcast? Well, if so, please reach out to us. You can contact our production team by emailing d50afterdark@d50tm.org, and one of our producers will get in touch with you and see how you can be a part of the show. And we really appreciate all of you listening. And Rhonda, it's been really great talking to you and meeting you.
It's been great. Best to you and your team.
Thank you, Rhonda. All right, that's a wrap. See you next time on D50 After Dark.